I can hear y'all talking about me. Kelly, what now?
All right, boom shakalaka.
First of all, we weren't talking about you specifically.
I heard Kelly. No, I just heard Kelly couldn't be here or something. I don't know what y'all talking about though.
You should have said first of all we weren't talking about you. Second of all, and then boom, hit the music.
Terry trying to cut me off.
Just trying to keep us
You
on
real
schedule.
dark. You real dark, Rudy.
I'm aware, and you are too. Thank you.
I'm aware.
Well, it is Halloween season, so this will be the spooky show.
I don't think that's how that works.
No, it doesn't. You got to put it in front of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you seem like you needed help.
You guys are killing the game today.
You know, really, all you have to do is spend $30 and get a ring light. You know, it's really all it takes.
I have studio lights, but I'm just not there. So I'm just making do with what I have.
It's always an excuse with you, isn't it?
Nah, it's just the reason.
I'm in a real fiery mood.
Yeah, I'm in a real funky one.
Let's fight.
All we doing is interviewing Janessa. What y'all funky and fiery about?
Life.
Yeah, life.
Life.
I'm in a funky mood today. Fiery. Oh, Janessa got to deal with y'all little funky fiery.
Sorry.
No, I will not. Janessa will promptly log off.
He said she wanted to go last week. Now you want to come back funky and fiery this week.
It's your last week?
No, I'm saying she said
no, next week's my last week.
Wanted to go last week. Is what I'm saying. But you held it back. Anyway. All right. Is everybody? Is that something green, Kelly, that you were drinking? Is that green? I can't tell. Or red or black? What is that?
It's red wine.
Oh. Look at you. And you being honest on camera.
I don't know. That's how funky of a mood I'm in that I don't even care.
Jesus. All right.
Top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Worst Ones podcast. This is the platform. I forgot to put this up. This is the platform for us preachers' kids to unite and come together like the people from Captain Planet. We should all get preachers' kid rings. And, you know. I'll be like, mine would be green for weed. Terry's would be like, I don't know, whatever the color beer is, brown or something.
Yellow.
We'll get Kelly red for wine, and then Janessa.
Be a diamond, clear, because I be drinking water. Okay.
Okay, nerd. All right.
AKA tequila.
Way to nerd it out. Lisa Simpson over here.
But yeah, we are all here. My name is Rudy. We got Terry Wayne, Kelly Lee, JANESSA ROWLAND in the building. Terry Wayne,
what up, my crackers?
Let's start with you. You weren't here last week. You had a big gig.
How was Danye?
Kelly wants to know about Danye.
Well, I don't know about Danye. We didn't see each other. But Dania was a fun show. Yeah, Dania was a fun show. My ex-fiance, who didn't show up to battle me in the first one, showed up to that show that she wasn't even on. So that was fun.
Who won?
Not me.
Oh,
other
man.
people.
Did she win?
She wasn't on the show.
She just showed up to watch. Gotcha.
Yeah, which was crazy.
Gotcha.
But no, it was a good show. A lot of talented guys. I'm okay with it. I've gone through this competition 3 times before, so I'm fine with it. I'm just seething mad underneath.
Gotcha.
No, it was fun. It was a good time. I'm glad I got to do that room. I haven't done that room before. It's okay. It's not the best room in the world, but
is it the same size as Miami? Bigger, smaller?
It's about the same. It's about the exact same setup as Miami. Only you have to get into the showroom. You have to go through the restaurant, which is a little weird. But other than that, it's exactly the same as Miami. Same size, same layout, the whole bit. Yeah, all straight tables. Everybody 2-sided, all that jazz.
They just don't have the screen backdrop. They got the actual words on the wall or whatever.
Right. And I prefer that. I like it better in West Palm Beach before the. Yeah, I didn't like West Palm Beach as much after they put a television in the back, like a LED screen, to put stuff on. But it just, I don't know. That stage is already so small in West Palm. It's like, why would you shrink it and make it this? It's.
So are you going to continue to support Florida's Funniest, or now that you're not moving on, are you done?
Well, I don't know what do you mean support, but no, I'm fine.
Comedy shows and support.
I'm fine with it. Like I said, I've been a finalist once and a semifinalist twice. So I'm fine with it.
I mean, that's it. Are you going to follow the shows, follow the winner, or are you like done?
Of course. You have to just to keep up with the
who's funnier than you?
No, you just to keep up with the social aspect of comedy.
Gotcha. So do you need to go to the shows and stuff? Like your ex-fiance came to this show, or are you going to go to some other shows?
If there's a show in West Palm, but I don't think it is. I think it's in Dania.
Okay.
Or Dania, if you know what you're saying.
Dania. Like Wanya.
Dania. Uh-huh. I just want to hear you say it once. Dania.
Dania.
There you go. That wasn't hard.
It wasn't. I like Danya better though. Or DeMarcus or whatever else I said.
Sure, DeMarcus.
You do realize that this is like a city or area in Fort Lauderdale. This isn't like a black area. Like you're trying to make this like a black dude so bad where it's not even. I
know DeMarcus. It's not even. She's really laying it on.
It's not even fitting for that area.
Sounds like they need to get a DeMarcus to move over into Dania.
No, what they did was they gentrified the area. They bulldozed DeMarcus' house.
Oh, so there used to be a DeMarcus.
Yeah, there was a DeMarcus there once. They foreclosed. They bulldozed. They cited eminent domain or whatever it is the government uses to steal from people.
Right.
Manifest destiny, I guess, or whatever. They took DeMarcus's house. They bulldozed that, and then they put a Chipotle on top of it, and then an improv comedy club right next to it.
There you go.
So that's the whole story. Now you know. It's interesting, right?
Gotcha. All right. Well,
what's Kellie eating?
Well, I'm saying anything. Well, as far as with you, is there anything else? Like everything else okay in your life?
Oh yeah, no. Had a great day today. Went out with another comic. Played some golf. Did really well for my skill level. 87. Shot an 87.
I don't know what that means.
It's a good score for an amateur.
Excellent.
I don't know what that means.
Good job.
Anytime you break 90, it's a good day.
Okay. Excellent.
All right. Okay.
What's even better is my partner was playing, and he was actually playing really good, and he shot a 90, and I still beat him.
Better than him. Excellent. Look at you.
And to the point where he was like, I don't even care that you're winning. Like, we're both doing really well.
Yeah. That's good. I like people who aren't haters that can congratulate even when they're losers. That's a beautiful thing.
Perry Sack, Rudy might know him. He's been around forever. He's like almost 17, 18 year comedian down here. No, he's a great guy. Boston
Good.
guy. Yeah.
I'm glad that he can continue to congratulate you and encourage you.
That's
Even
the
when-
kind of he's the kind of guy that won't even sleep with your girlfriend even if she tries. So,
I hope most people wouldn't, but good job, Perry.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah.
All right, Kellie Lee, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Can't complain.
Funky today?
Yeah, somebody agitated me a bit, but today is JANESSA's day, so I'm doing great. All is well. I can't
It's
complain.
her birthday or something.
I guarantee you by the end of this podcast, Kellie will take her frustrations out on me at some point. I'm certain of it.
About you today. So
I know. I'm certain of it. Yeah.
The Lord is good.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? God is good.
Mm-hmm.
All the time.
Y'all hear the bubbling?
Time.
That y'all hear that bubbling, right? That bubbling anger, it's coming.
Wait, it's too much talking. What?
You could have went with the Lord is good and his mercy endureth
forever. Okay, I knew. Yep. But I wanted some call and response. So God is good.
All the time.
And all the time.
God is good.
Amen. I'm a bit needy today. So when I get in the funk, I get a bit needy. But again, it's JANESSA's day. So all is well.
All right. Well,
I thought my ending was awkward, but you topped it.
Well, I am doing fantastic. Just at the crib today.
We just skipping over Janessa.
Well, since we're interviewing her, it's probably befitting.
Oh, okay. We're building up to it. Okay. I got you.
Yeah. So yeah. Let's just move on.
Real awkward. This is
Harry's pretty eager. Let's just get right to it. So we are back on track with Get to Know Your PK 3.0. And today we have none other than J Rihanna, the real Rihanna. Storm.
That's right.
Melanated Brews. We have fun over there.
We used to, at least.
My god sister, JANESSA ROWLAND.
Woo!
Let it be known that I do not want to do this. I do not like talking about, I don't like talking, period, but I don't like talking about myself. So let this be a quick 30-minute Q&A and be done.
I got all the time in the world today. I'm
thinking like
15 minutes Q&A.
I'm free until 10 o'clock tonight.
That's right. Listen, like you said, JANESSA, we'll make it a quick 90 minutes and a
quick 15.
A quick 90 and we'll get out of here.
So JANESSA, let's start with
the beginning.
You telling us how your week was, like just how you are in general, and then we'll dive into.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Rudy, but let's start with your height, your weight, your age, and how much debt you have. Okay, let's start with all those. Those 4 quick questions.
So
my week was, it was pretty good. I mean, of course, I'm trying to knock out work because next Thursday is my last day at work till January. Yes, thank you, Lord. So I'm trying to make sure everything is done. But I did have my Halloween party, my costume party last Saturday, and it was a good time. I did go as Storm. Kellie did see my costume. I think I did pretty good. I put some effort in it.
Oh, what is that?
I don't know what that is, but okay.
That was my costume.
Oh, that's your. What is it?
It's just a scary guy.
Okay. Well,
but it's got like the LED lights all over it, right? So
I see. Dark type thing. How fun.
It is, yeah.
So back to JANESSA.
Sure, sorry.
Jesus Christ.
It was sitting right next to me.
You had your shot. You could have said that during your time.
But yeah, I'm just, trying to recover because we definitely had a time, and
we had a time last night.
Well, I was about to say, first of all, why are you using church terminology? We had a time in the Lord.
We had a time last night. Okay.
You're drinking that wine and smoking them tweeds.
So yeah, just trying to recover because I'm not young anymore, and it's catching up to me. Like when I say I actually fell asleep in the middle of the party, and all my friends got videos and pictures, but I was knocked out. Like I needed a little nap, and then I got back up and was ready to go. So
okay, just a little cat nap.
Just a little cat nap.
I hate it every time one of you says at my age. Just being the oldest one, I'm allowed to.
Listen, if you knew me when I was 21, you would have had a different outlook. But yeah, I had a good time.
Gotcha. That's what's up. Awesome. All right, well, so like Kelly said, let's start from the beginning. Just give our viewers who may not know or who have not listened from the beginning, because there's so many, 500 million or something like that. Just a quick run through of just who you are, how you grew up, how you got to the point of
what is a Janessa?
Future valedictorian of your class, because you got all these roles and
negative.
Yes, tell us all about the honor roll and the bumper stickers.
Just to, I guess, start from the beginning. I was born into Thankful Baptist Church in Decatur, Georgia, and then we transitioned.
Who was the pastor?
Pastor was Bishop James Harold Morton.
Okay.
Senior.
Yes, senior. And was really active, even though, when I think about it, because I think we got to New Beginning in was it 96 or something? 98, maybe? 94?
Give me a line.
I just remember, even at a very young age, being all up at Thankful every day, all day.
So, but I got a historical question. I'm sorry. It's about you, but it's not. But I think the followers want to know.
Sure.
Because I should probably know this, but I don't. So Thankful had the same pastor as New Beginning.
Yes.
So when did Thankful turn into New Beginning? Or
how
how
did tell you that?
So Thankful is still Thankful.
Oh, so it's still okay.
We just moved to New Beginning. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me what that looks like. Okay.
So that's why I was trying to get the exact date. It was in the 90s. I can't remember, but Thankful was at Thankful in Decatur, Georgia. Then there was a situation that happened.
Okay.
And we moved to Decatur High School gym for a little bit of time.
And you were still Thankful.
Just to be clear, because I don't want it to sound like it was a scandal. Okay, the deacon.
It was though.
But I'm saying, but when you say a situation happened, that could sound like Bishop did something, crazy or whatever. I'm just saying, like the deacons who was on the board, the member, whatever. They basically locked the doors, kicked them out, like they weren't rocking with him type thing. So but majority of the congregation followed him, and so whatever. So I mean. Janessa,
and then it became New Beginning because y'all had a new beginning. Look at that.
Sure. That might be it.
Maybe it was that deep. But once again, Janessa, you can finish your story. But I just wanted to just be clear that it wasn't like something Bishop did crazy. It just was,
Yeah, I figured out the name. Okay, come on.
So yeah, we went to Decatur High School gym for a little bit, and then we moved to where New Beginning currently is located. Off of Valley Brook Road in Decatur, Georgia.
So when you were at Decatur High School, what was the name of that church?
I don't really know.
Yeah, I'm about to say I don't even know. I think we just at the gym. I don't even know the name.
Yeah, what is that church?
That's a great question.
That is a great question. Ask my parents.
To ask that.
Okay. Yeah, what is that church on Sundays? No name. You just show up the church. Amen.
Decatur High School gym. That's what it was.
Amen.
Yeah. And so at New Beginning, I was on the usher board. And
sorry to cut you off, Janessa, but this was like a lot of people. This wasn't like just like one or 200 people. Like you talking about, this is quite a few. Probably
that follow. So then, how did this? So this? I'm sorry, never mind.
And we was having Sunday school and everything, like in the separate bleachers areas. Like it was crazy. Go ahead.
I got more questions. I gotta ask. Maybe I call Bishop Morton. I got some questions now in there, and just you can call your uncle,
because he surely does know. He does know. That's actually where my parents met. Kellie's family, her uncle was at Thankful. But anywho, at New Beginning, I was on the usher board, the youth usher board, and I would occasionally, every now and then, make an appearance in the choir. I was on the dance ministry. This is back when Miss McCoy, Demetrius' mother, was over it. Before actually, Demetrius preached last Sunday at my church for Men's Day, and I saw both of his parents.
What was that noise?
And Miss McCoy, Pastor McCoy, First Lady McCoy. But anywho, we lived at the church. My dad at the time was a deacon, an elder, the church business manager, Sunday school teacher. I think they were over the couples ministry, and probably a few other things, you know. And my mom was a deaconess. She was a Sunday school teacher. She was also, I think, whatever with the couples ministry, and probably some other stuff I don't even know. But when I say we were the first to be at church and the last to leave, that's what we did every Sunday, Wednesday. If there was like a pastor or preacher coming into town, I remember being in elementary school, my dad would pick me and my sister up from school. We would go to New Beginning. There would be a limo waiting at New Beginning. Pile in there, go back to the airport, get the pastor. And typically we only did this if the pastor brought their kids or nieces or family members, whatever. And I remember one time a well-known pastor brought his daughter, and we ended up going to Dave & Buster's and entertaining her, and then we took her to.
Are you saying well known because you don't want to say his name, or?
Yeah, I don't want to say his name. But y'all would probably know who this person is. We went to the mall, and we would hang out. And so that was kind of like my dad's role to a certain extent, kind of extended to us. Just because of who we were the entertainers. And I would say that Demetrius and Mike. Demetrius has been on our podcast before. They would do the same thing too if there was like the pastor came and brought their sons. So it was that type of situation. My dad traveled a lot with Bishop.
Just out of curiosity, was your dad and their dad chosen because he had daughters and sons? Like, and they needed a boy-girl thing, or did it just work out that way? Like, what if like they both had girls and you just know boys would hang out with them? You just had to just come in.
I don't know. I think it just that's just kind of how it, panned out. Because also, like, we would typically be around the same age. Me and Jessica are about two years apart. I'm not sure the age difference between me and Mike, but they also weren't going to put 11-year-olds with 18-year-olds, or what I'm saying? Like, it had to make sense. And also it had to work with our schedules too, because me and my sister, I did AAU gymnastics, and Jessica did, she was really into ballet, tap, jazz. Like, we had our own little personal schedules too. So, it had to make sense for everybody, but,
just one more question, just about out of curiosity, do you know how much, like, just say like how much money was being spent or spent? Just I guess with bringing a pastor in, to pay him to preach, the flight. Like, do you have an idea of what they were paying for all that? No?
I have no idea. Because I know it varies from church to church. Back in the day, back during that time, that's when New Beginning was really popping. So I don't know what the budget was, or what the protocols were. I don't know. But we would travel a lot. Well, a lot of times my dad or my parents would travel with Bishop. more so my dad, because somebody had to stay home with the kids. But there were times that we would travel with Bishop too, like for the full gospel conference. So like say, you know, Bishop's room is here, my dad's room or our room would be here, and then like the McCoy's room would be here. And so we were just really around Bishop, his family, a lot growing up. And then in 2000,
did y'all fly first class?
Yeah, in 2000, my dad was called to be a pastor at New Piney Grove Missionary Baptist Church in Decatur, Georgia. And we have been there. Actually, this coming up Sunday will be my dad's 22nd pastoral anniversary. Nice. And so
was New Piney Grove already established when your dad took over? Okay.
Yes. So when my dad became pastor of New Piney Grove, the church was celebrating its 100th church anniversary.
Oh, okay.
Yes, right. Very well established church.
Okay, yeah, been there for a minute.
But our current location is not where it started. The current location for our Georgia followers or people who know was off of Covington Highway and is it South Harrison? Like it's maybe half a block up off of Covington Highway in South Harrison. So that was the first location. And then we moved to our current location, which is off of Snapfinger. Is it Western Chapel? Whatever. Been there for a while. So yeah.
Gotcha.
That's it. That's how I became a PK.
Right. So tell me, what's the best part of being a PK?
Oh, if you would have asked me this when I became a PK, I would have said nothing. Because I did not want to go. I didn't have any interest in being a PK. I did not want to go leave all my friends.
And you're talking about as far as like the pastors being a PK, because like your dad, I guess, was a preacher at New Beginning, but you mean like actually having to go off and do his own thing. Right?
Yeah, I didn't. And the way it was kind of, I would say, sprung on us was not, I don't know. I feel like it could have been done a little bit better. How about that? It just felt very much so like, by the way, we're going to be leaving this church and starting going to this new church, like starting next week. Wow. You know, it wasn't like I really got to say goodbye or anything like that. And then of course the time period was it was a lot going on in my family's life. Because remember, my mom was pregnant with DJ at this time. Mm-hmm. DJ, my dad preached his first sermon at New Piney Grove, the first Sunday in November, hence the anniversary. And my brother was born November 28th. So when my dad preached his first sermon, my mom wasn't there. She was in the hospital. They had told her she was going to be on bed rest from October until her due date, which was in March. So not only was it like an abrupt, like, yeah, we going over here. It was, my mom was in the hospital too. And me and Jessica kind of were just, I won't even put her in it, but, you know, just trying to figure it out at 11 and 13, making new friends and being a new environment, not knowing anybody.
Was there youth ministry? Like, was it established there when y'all got there?
Yes, they did have a youth ministry, but I would say there were more people in my sister's like age group or grade, and then there was a lot of kids who were younger than me. But in my actual, like the class of 2007, I would say there was only maybe 3 or 4 kids, and I was the only girl. So that was another thing. I didn't really have, like, at New Beginning, I had my core group of friends who I've literally known since birth. And so now I'm coming to this environment where I didn't know anybody, but also no one's really my age. So like I said, if you would have asked me then, I would have been like, nothing is good about being a PK. But I think now, 22 years later, which is crazy to say, I would say just kind of the relationships that I have with people, to a certain extent, the influence I have because it's allowed certain things to happen through the church. For instance, the young adult dance ministry, the young adult choir, are two ministries that I was the co-founder for. And I really feel like a lot of that was done because I, was able to have those conversations with my dad. I was able to kind of be the voice for the young adults, but also be your child at the same time. Like, I just had access to him in ways that other people maybe did not. So that was good. And even now, no, we don't live in the same house anymore, but I kind of have my ear to the young adult streets of the church or whatever. So we still have those conversations about, well, what do you think we should do? Or what do you think would be a good idea? How can we try to be more engaging in this way and that way or whatever? So those are good things, I think. I don't know. I never really thought about that. Kelly, you should have asked me that in a text like 5 hours before, so I would have thought about it.
Man. Hey, y'all. Sorry to interrupt, but we have a few church announcements. Follow us on Instagram at The Worst Ones PK. New content coming soon. We also have a TikTok at The Worst Ones PK. No content yet, but continue to check us out. If you want to, when you listen to our podcast, you can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you find your podcast. Just make sure you type in The Worst Ones Podcast and you'll find us. And when you get there, make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe, and you share. Thank you to our 500,422 followers. We love you so much. Now, back to the show.
I know you dealt with like pressures when it came down to like your school journey, and even like reasons why you chose Georgia Tech and all these different things, whatever. But do you think it was more pressure on the school side or the PK side as far as growing up?
On the school side or the church side?
Right. Like as far as being PK, yeah.
In terms of what?
And just especially as far as like being a PK.
I think honestly, the church side might have been more pressure. I would say for me, in my family, education's like a really big thing. My dad has 4 degrees. My mom has 3, including her PhD. My sister has 3, including her PhD. I'm working on my 2nd, and my brother will be finishing his bachelor's in May of next year. And so like doing well and going to school and getting an education and stuff like that's something that has been installed in me since birth. Like, so it's a kind of different pressure. I think church was like the plot twist I didn't see. And it wasn't something that I wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like at New Beginning, people knew me very well, but I also could fly under the radar. Like I wasn't a Jason or a Kim or a Jimmy or something like that. Of course, if I did something stupid, I had plenty of eyes on me to snatch me up real quick or tell my parents. But at the same time, like I was able to be a kid. As a PK, it was especially at first, it was a really big transition because like like I said, I didn't know anybody and I'm 11 years old when I get there. And then of course my mom was in the hospital and you're kind of getting ready to go through this, puberty and teenage years and stuff like that. My sister was 13. And who could I trust? I don't know these people. If I was having an issue, like if I was mad at my parents because they wouldn't let me do something, I couldn't say that in the youth Bible study because it was going to get back to them. At the same time, like if I had did something or I don't know, like, or something I shouldn't have done or, and wanted to talk about it in Bible study or whatever, I couldn't do that either because it was going to get back to them. So it was just like a lot of stuff I had to keep.
And when you say in Bible study, you're saying like to ask it out loud to whoever the teacher is, like whoever.
Right. Like, we would go on conferences or trips or whatever. You have these breakout sessions or whatever, and people are pouring their hearts out and all this stuff. And I just never had the liberty of doing that. And especially if it was something that I was upset that my parents wouldn't let me do, because how dare I speak bad about the pastor and the first lady? Like, I could not paint them in this anything other than being these amazing people.
Absolutely.
And so that was really challenging, because I was a very, I wouldn't say dramatic, that's what my family would say, but I was a very colorful youth, to say the least.
It sounds like that could be especially hard.
It was. I don't know, like, it was, I forgot the question at this point. What was it?
Me too.
I was
just stuck on
especially.
especially.
Which one was more pressure as far as?
Oh yeah, the church for sure.
Right.
The church for sure.
Gotcha. I ain't mad at that.
Well, yeah, because education is just, that's just saying how smart you are. But church is like, how good of a person are you? Like,
but I'm saying, but as far as in her family though, because like, I mean, education was important to my mom. Like, she made sure, like, we got at least bachelor's degrees. And I mean, I do have a master's, but as far as like pushing to me to get a master's, like, that was never like a conversation. Like, it just was just the first 4 years of college, the undergrad, was the only thing she ever kind of really stressed. But I definitely felt way more pressure from her as far as like on the religious side than I did school. You know what I'm saying? Like, school was like, I don't know. It just like it was the awareness of the expectation, but I didn't necessarily feel the pressure. But I felt like with you, Janessa, like you to me, it felt like you got some pressure on the school side. You know what I'm saying?
I did,
especially, I'm gonna say it again, especially because,
oh my God, it's like nails on a chalkboard to me.
Especially because
can't just put letters in there where they don't go.
Especially because you got all these people with the PhDs and 85 degrees and so on and so forth. So that's what made me ask that question, because not only you have the PK, but then you also got the EK.
For sure. I will say this, for a long time I thought that everybody's family had all these degrees when I was really young. It wasn't until I got older that I was like, oh wait. But it was definitely a lot of pressure, because I mean, I don't mind saying this, my dad has his degrees are from Georgia Tech. He's in the Athletic Hall of Fame. He set a few records and held them for like 25 years. And then he coached the person who broke his record. They're still good friends today. He left there and went to Mercer, and then went to Harvard, and then went to Emory, and has degrees from all these schools. My mom went to Georgia State for her undergrad, University of Georgia, unfortunately, for grad school. So we're house divided. The Georgia Tech UGA thing, that's been there from birth, literally. And then actually my mom's brother is a Georgia Tech alum as well. His daughter just graduated from Georgia Tech last year. And then my mom did her PhD at Georgia State. And then my sister did, of course, her bachelor's at Spelman. And then she got her master's and PhD from Princeton. And so there definitely was a lot of pressure to, like, how do you follow up with that? Like, and of course my parents say, they never put this pressure on me, but I felt this way. How do I follow up with that? Like, how do I follow? Getting a bachelor's to me was like going to high school. It was just required. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was no other option. There was no other choice that I felt like I had. And even getting a master's, I kind of felt like I needed to do that too, just to kind of keep up with my own family. I've definitely had times where I feel like I've been in competition with my family. Not a competition like trying to be better than them, but like just trying to keep up with what they've done, because they have done some incredible things.
Absolutely.
And so, I'm trying to do some incredible things too. But what I'm learning is like, I'm incredible in my own way, and my way might not look like theirs. And it's really interesting, because to things that I am interested in. I know a lot of people aren't. I know people aren't really interested in meteorology or gardening or coffee or all the random stuff that I do, but that's kind of what makes me great. And so, I'm just trying to embrace that right now.
Honey, just cut that part out and put that for the next. You just said a whole word.
I can't help but feel a little bit mad hearing you guys talk about like, oh, it's pressure to go to school and all this. Like, I really wanted to go to school, and I remember my dad said, like, any kid of mine that wants to go to school is gonna go, So I did. I graduated early at like 14, and then I went to community college, and and I said, oh yeah, just send the bill to my dad. And then they pulled me out of class on like the third day, and they're like, you have to pay for this or you're not going. So I'm just putting the opposite side of it on that. Is like the pressure to go to school, and it's like it's a privilege, in my opinion. That's just mine.
I understand that. I will say, looking back,
I
probably would, I hope I don't ever get in trouble. But anywho, I probably would not have gone to Georgia Tech.
Those are big words from you.
I know. Kellie, don't punch me. I probably wouldn't have even gone to Spelman either. I know. I did not, like I should have, did the research to figure out like what school really fit me. I applied to, I think, 8 schools, and every one of them was somewhere that either my parents went to, my sister went to, a cousin, an auntie, or something went to, and was just like, oh, well, they seem to have a good time. So, I'll make it work or whatever. And I love Spelman. Tech, I'm loving now that I've graduated. At the time, it was the worst thing ever. But, I probably would have done something completely different. Like,
and I think that's real. I think to Terry's point, and I know the three of us, Rudy, Janessa, and myself, have kind of grown up in similar backgrounds, in this middle class Black community where going to school, going to college just wasn't an option. However you got there, whether your parents paid for it, whether you took out loans, whether the parents took out loans, whatever it was, it just wasn't an option.
Football
scholarships, grants, whatever it was, you were going to go because that was the messaging that we all kind of received pretty clearly in our peer group growing up at that time. And so for it to be such a mandate in our community, but I still feel like at 16, 17 years old, 18 years old, we're just way too young to make those type of life decisions. And you do kind of just fall into right where I got a scholarship or where I know somebody else went, and they had a good time, because I'm sure the cousins and aunts and uncles and parents and sisters and all of them, they got that influence from someplace else for them to go to the Spelmans and Harvards and whatever they went, and the Princetons, they got that from someplace else, even the Ivy Leagues. And I can definitely see, right, your family has done some absolutely phenomenal things. Like I said, not just one person in the family, everybody.
That's what I'm saying. All of them. How do you not?
And so, right. So, like I said, to Terry's point, the privilege of being able to go to college, but on the flip side, I see your point, Terry, but on the flip side, it was kind of a mandate for us to go, and it wasn't an option. And I think sometimes it's unfair because we don't have the maturity or the knowledge to really choose for ourselves, what we really wanted to do. I went on a Spelman College visit. I was like, oh, okay, yep, I love it. Now, good thing I loved it. You know what I'm saying? Like, good thing I loved it. But, I applied to Howard and Hampton and I think the University of Miami because they wanted to give me a scholarship. But all of that was something somebody told me. Not that I did any, like you said, any individual research to figure out what really fit me. So I think that was, like I said, you've had a lot of gems in what you said, Janessa. But I just wanted to piggyback that, yes, where it seems like a privilege, it was also restricting as well.
Janessa, real quick before you go, Terry. Was there any pressure at Georgia Tech because of your dad, as far as like you getting in trouble? Did anybody know like you was his daughter there? Like that?
Not really like that. There are people who knew who he was, but it was more so because we all went, like the high school I went to, some more students came over, and so they knew my dad by my dad first. But no, like I didn't have any advisors or staff or anything like that who was like, oh, you're Dexter Rowland's daughter. Like, no. But if you go into the Athletic Hall of Fame, or if you went to the track thing, of course his name and stuff is there. But I mean, you have to know. So
gotcha. Go ahead, Terry.
Oh, I was just gonna say I actually did go. I went for 2 semesters, but I was working a full-time job, I had an apartment, and trying to go to school. It was just too much. I burnt out after 2 months. But it was probably the best thing that happened. The best scenario, at least for me, because just on the flip side of at the time it felt like I was losing something that everybody else got to get, but it also enabled me to start my businesses and do this and do that, and I did it all with no debt. Like, I had 2 semesters worth. I think I paid it off in like 2 years.
That's a blessing as well. And I got one more question, Janessa. How old were you when you went to those 2 semesters in college, in community college?
Terry?
Oh, me? Yes. I was 18.
18. Okay.
That was it?
Yep, that was it.
Janessa. Okay, well, I haven't asked any questions to Janessa, so I figured I would. I've been waiting for you guys
before you go, I got one last question, because I know you.
She just gave the reaction,
but you probably gonna take it a different way. So I just want to ask you real quick.
Okay.
Was your parents, or if not your parents, at least your dad, he was on full-time salary at New Beginning with that position?
I don't know. These are questions I don't know. But keep in mind, I was like, we left New Beginning when I was 11. So I'm sorry, I ain't know them questions to ask.
Right. Well, I guess I'm saying, like, did he work another job when y'all were, what I'm saying, like, or was he just literally only doing that?
No, so he has an interesting story, and hopefully he'll share it. He shared it. He's talked about it at church several times, but before my dad got into pastoring, he was a high-level exec at Georgia Power. And he resigned because God told him to go into ministry. And so, I mean, at this point, me and Jessica were in private schools, and DJ wasn't even born at this point. But it was a big deal because it was like, you have family to take care of, and God's telling you to go into ministry. And so he resigned from that position. That's when he went to Emory, I think it's Candler School of Divinity, because that's where he got his master's from, and worked at the church full time. So I guess he did work full time there.
So when he quit his job for ministry, that's when he was the armor bearer adjutant.
Mm-hmm. But I want to say he was that like before, like he was doing that while working for Georgia Power. But once he resigned and went to theology school, that's when he got full time at New Beginning as the church business manager. So like he would, like he had an office there, and like,
also he wasn't just an armor bearer, like he was like working.
Yeah, like Auntie Arnelia and
I know she worked there, but I'm saying like, but
all of them, they all
your dad and Elder McCoy, like they was there. So like in my mind, I just thought they just was like, I don't know, bodyguards or something. I don't know, like they just always traveled with them, whatever. I didn't know that like they actually had like, you the business. What did you say? Business accountant.
He was the business manager for the church. I don't know if Pastor McCoy worked for the church in that capacity, but no, my dad did.
Gotcha.
So yeah. And of course, my mom was working too at this time, just in her field.
Right. So I guess whatever he was making at the church was still sufficient enough for y'all to stay in private school and all that.
Yep, because we went to private school my entire life, from pre-K. I mean, from like daycare till Spelman. I didn't go to a public school until I went to Georgia Tech.
Like
and none
Jesus
of us, my
private
brothers
school?
Too. Huh?
Like a Jesus private school?
No, so me and my sister went to the children's school, which is downtown across from Piedmont Park. But my brother, I want to say he went to like Green Pastures, Green Forest for a little bit, and then he went to St. Thomas More, which is a Catholic school.
You didn't go to Paideia?
No, we went to the children's school for elementary school. I went to the Friends school for middle school. Jessica went to Paideia, and then I joined her at Paideia for high school. DJ,
sorry, you went to Paideia.
Okay. Yeah, no. So at the time, the children's school only went up to 6th grade.
Okay,
and then DJ went to Green Pastures, Green Forest, St. Thomas More, but then he went to Marist for high school.
Oh,
so we all went to private schools.
Okay,
and he's at a private school now for college. So
yeah. Go for it.
Terry. Like I said, I haven't asked any questions of Janessa yet. Before that interesting conversation started. So I have a question. Like, we have learned over the course of a couple of years doing this, Janessa does not like to answer personal questions, right? Right. So my question is, how old exactly were you when you lost your virginity?
Kellie, do you have any other questions? Rudy and Kellie, do you guys have any other questions?
So we are absolutely not. He has not lost his virginity. We're not absolutely not answering that question.
Anybody else have questions before I log off for the day?
No. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know how to come back.
Pure. She has not lost it. She is still pure, holy.
Oh, is that right? Oh, come on now. That would be terrible. I'd feel worse if that was the answer. I'd be like, oh shit, I shouldn't have made that joke.
I got a question.
Let me ask you a question, Janessa. So when your dad started pastoring, were you ever in a position where either, I guess, pastors would come to preach to y'all and you still had to entertain their kids, and or your dad had to travel somewhere and y'all had to go with him and somebody had to entertain y'all? Like, did you, I guess, reciprocate that once you became a pastor's kid? Or were you still on the side of just entertaining?
For the most part. So, okay. When my dad became a pastor, we had like pastors come and they had kids. We would talk to them at the church. It wasn't like, oh, let's go hang out and go to Stone Mountain or to the mall. It wasn't like that. But we would definitely link up with them there, exchange numbers, and that be that. The times that we would travel with my dad somewhere, it was more so we stayed as a family unit. But I think that's more so because of who my parents are. Like, my parents, me and Jessica didn't get cell phones till college, okay? Like, we boys were not allowed to call the house. We were not allowed to go anywhere. I remember wanting to go to the movies, and there was 5 black girls in my class. We're still very good, close friends today. All of them had to go for me to go. Like, that's the type of situation my parents were on. I think our senior year of spring break, we went to, it was either Myrtle Beach or Panama City Beach, whatever. One of my friends' parents got like a hotel or rented a condo or whatever. My parents was like, nope. One of the friends, her parents were going and had got a hotel somewhere that was like 30 or 45 minutes away. I was only able to go because I went with them and their parents could keep an eye on us. Like, my parents were not playing that. So I don't think that we were able to do stuff just because of how they were as parents. And not that it wasn't maybe offered or wasn't something we could do. They were just like, no, you want to go to the mall? We can all go to the mall. Like, it was that type of situation.
So I think I know what you're saying. So 18, right? Is that about right? 18? Okay.
I have no idea, Terry, what you're talking about. Rudy and Kelly, y'all got any more questions?
18's a good
Wow.
one. I feel like 18's right, and that's a good one because like 16, it's like you didn't have no home training, but you obviously did. So I'm gonna say 18.
So tell me,
Sound like a real
how
preacher.
has being a preacher's kid shaped your one relationship with God in Christ now, and two, your relation. What you say, Rudy?
I know. I just was don't represent Christ.
Oh, you got frozen right there. But
I didn't know what he was doing
Right,
either. I was
you
like,
got froze right there.
is that a gang sign?
What's
Is
happening?
Rudy Thug Life now?
So yes, how has that impacted your relationship with Christ, and how has it impacted your relationship with the church?
Hmm.
Person Christ.
I think at 33, I get it now. I get a lot of the lessons that what was trying to be taught at the church. Of course, I think there's definitely things that could have been done differently, but I, for the most part, see what they were trying to do. And so I would say it definitely has strengthened my relationship with God, even though everything wasn't done, to the best of their ability sometimes. The foundation that was set at New Piney Grove was A1. I will give them that. And I appreciate them because we would go, like New Piney Grove's youth ministry would go to Berean's youth conferences every year. And so like, even, our youth ministry, it definitely wasn't as big as a Berean or a New Beginning. But they definitely tried to expose us and join with ministries that were doing things that kind of reached us. And I think it must have done something positive for me to want to start these ministries for the young adults at the church, because of what typically happens is when people go to college, or graduate high school, like that's it. And something in me was like, we need to do something for the young adults. There's like a gap. Maybe that's the reason why everybody's leaving, is because they don't feel like they have a place in the church once they leave. Like, you don't necessarily feel like you're 18, you graduate, and then you need to be, in Bible study with 50-year-olds or let alone with your parents, because you're actually going through like difficult stuff maybe, and you don't want to talk to your parents or your parents' peers about it, or you don't want it to get back to your parents' peers. So just kind of creating our own space, that was important to me. And what was the other question? Something about how did it
How do you shape your relationship with God in church?
With the church? I think, I think between the ages of 11, I would even say all the way, for sure up to 18, but probably up to like maybe 21 or 22. I feel like the church viewed me as a certain way, like little Janessa. And I feel like it wasn't until I started kind of getting involved in leadership with the church where people kind of had to start taking me seriously, or at least acknowledging that I was an adult, even if they didn't always treat me like an adult. But I think what God has done through me, because I'm not taking no credit for it, it was worth it. And I think hopefully the church has benefited from it. And, it's drawn, whether they're church members or just people who just happen to come to church that day or to a program or something, I hope it's ministered and touched their lives. So, it was worth it. I think it was a lot, there was definitely, I'm trying to be really like buttoned up, because told y'all I was colorful growing up, and I still can be colorful, but we'll just leave it there.
I get what you're saying.
It
So
wasn't
19.
easy,
So
but
19.
it was worth it.
All right.
How about that?
Yeah. So 19. All right.
Look, this is why y'all can't ask me
Hey,
questions.
somebody's got to put some humor into this thing, man.
No,
Yeah, we're still waiting on it. All right, so
y'all can't ask me questions. I forget what you asked me and go on a tangent, and I don't like.
I'm trying to
speaking about
provoke
myself.
it. I know. I'm trying to
Terry,
provoke
I'm
it.
not entertaining you and your foolishness, sir. So
I'm trying to entertain our 500 million followers. You know.
listen.
So thank you, Janessa, so much.
I'm about to say, if all hearts and minds are clear, Janessa, you can let the people know where they can find you. You and your wonderful story.
You can find me at JRihanna_. We have fun over there sometimes.
How is the ghetto garden?
I actually looked at it today, and before my surgery, I need to uproot everything. I still have like 2 watermelons on the vine, but everything's dying. No. Everything is probably horrible and going bad. I have not watered anything in months. It's been below 30 degrees a few weeks, like it's kaput, but it's just there. Try again next year.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we definitely appreciate you for allowing us to invade your little privacy. I know.
Oh yes, that was a lot.
Was it? I feel like it was
that was very mild. I feel like that was
not
an autobiography. That was a press release.
Yeah, because I really don't like talking about my life. Like even now, and Kelly, you might have. Well, all of y'all probably could pick it up, but even now, I still feel like a part of me has to be protective of my family.
Absolutely.
So
that's the most honest thing you've said in this podcast.
Of course. So that's why I was saying like things by far were not perfect or easy or there was like a lot of struggle, but I still very much so conscious that I'm not going to paint my family in any negative light or anything that might make them look bad. Like
I'll go even further than that. You feel like a representative, like you're representing all of them, and that's why you're so closed off. Because
I don't want to say
always got to put it. Always got to don't catch me riding dirty.
I'm representing them. I would say that I am them to a certain extent. Like I am an extension of them. Literally, I am them. So I'm not going to.
No, you are you.
I'm an extension of them.
I hear exactly what you're saying.
I get what you're saying, but I don't think it's healthy.
Well, it's a y'all can do a part 2 of me because I make my family look bad. Y'all just ain't asked the right question. I'll tell it out. I'll tell it out. Who y'all want to know about? Risa? Huh? No,
don't do Risa like that.
Right. There's nothing bad to say about your family.
He doesn't have to spill the tea. He's already got it tipped over.
It's a little tea out there now.
Oh yeah, but that's it. Go ahead, Kelly. What's your name?
Kelly 51. It's private.
What is the 51?
You can't follow her.
Your line number is 51. Jesus Christ! Out of how many?
62.
How do y'all do that? Y'all have to play it by tens? What do y'all do?
Nope. All as one.
That's terrible. The biggest line, especially at my little school, like a big line at our school would be like 14 people. That'll be a huge line.
No, 62.
Yeah, there was a line at Tech of 1.
Oh, okay.
What was the Iota?
Right.
I think she was an SG row.
Oh, it was a woman. Okay.
Yep.
Now, I mean, I know at big schools they definitely, they get pretty steep, especially AKA. Everybody number 430.
AKA. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 51, still private. All right.
Still private. Send me a DM. I see the request.
You're never getting into that club. At Terry Wynn Comedy. I have a show this Thursday that you will miss because this won't come out until after, but I'm sure it went great. And at Terry Wynn Comedy.
Do you have any shows that they might see by the time it comes out?
Nah, because nobody watches this.
Excuse you.
500 million followers. I'm sorry. Yeah, and the book is currently on sale on Amazon.
I'm not even gonna show the book today because you're being disrespectful.
I am. I'm in a fiery mood. I'm all full of piss and vinegar. That's what golf does to me. Makes me all competitive. Huh?
Right.
That sounds like you're trying to pass a drug test.
No.
Gotcha. Okay. Well,
thank you again, Janessa, for sharing your life and your time with us.
Don't ask me no more questions.
I think we tried to go easy on you today.
Thank you.
We're gonna peel you like an onion, just one layer
also,
at a time.
she didn't tell us that her family had some dark secrets until after at the end, so we didn't get a chance to.
Part two.
If she said that at the beginning, I would have started digging. Okay, so where was you at? No, I'm just kidding.
Part two.
No, one layer at a time with Janessa.
That's right.
I think that's just the only layer we're getting. I think that's the point she was making. Anyway.
But I do hope that it kind of shows y'all why I'm so meticulous about certain things. Like, and just the way I comment on this podcast, like I'm very, very much so doing my research, and it's built in me.
And the thing is, at any time, though, as Terry pointed out, nobody listens to the podcast now. At any given time, this may go viral.
Not this one. Not this one.
Let this one stay buried.
Maybe if she would have answered the virginity question, then maybe it had gone viral. But
but all
time is gone.
100 episodes at this point. I think we missed the 100th episode, but I think that's the fear in it all. That if they take a piece out of context, or that they'll take this one piece that I've shared in a moment of vulnerability. I know there's times where I've been vulnerable, and how does this look, against the Rowland family, against the Lee family? Like, what does this mean? So
it means nothing. Yeah,
not to you, but you can't dismiss what it looks like for us. You haven't been in our shoes in Metro Atlanta.
You haven't even stepped foot into New York.
I just go off of what Golda Meir once said. She said, "Never be humble. You're not that great." So that's the way I look at it. Like we don't matter as much as we think.
We are absolutely extraordinary.
By the way, Kelly, the 100th episode was literally last week.
We missed it.
Oh,
and I am not extraordinary, and I say that proudly, even having shot at 87 today.
Well, we are.
And not only are we extraordinary, we are the worst ones. See y'all next week.
We're extraordinarily worse.
Top of the world.